Stocking up for long-term survival? In this video, we reveal 35 foods that never expire, making them perfect for emergency preparedness and off-grid living. From pantry staples to unexpected survival foods, these items will last indefinitely if stored properly. Don't get caught unprepared. Learn which foods can sustain you for a lifetime. 1. Honey. The liquid gold that defies time. Archaeologists have discovered 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs that was still perfectly edible. This miracle substance never spoils due to its unique chemical composition, low moisture content, and high acidity, creating an environment where bacteria simply cannot survive. Bees add an enzyme called glucose oxidase that produces hydrogen peroxide, acting as a natural preservative. While honey might crystallize over time, simply warm it gently to restore its flowing glory. Ancient civilizations used it for everything from sweetening foods to treating wounds, and modern science has confirmed its antibacterial properties. Stored in a cool, dark place in a tightly sealed container, and your grandchildren's grandchildren could enjoy the same jar. 2. White rice. This kitchen staple is practically immortal when stored properly. White rice's secret to longevity lies in what it's missing: the natural oils found in brown rice that eventually turn rancid. After processing removes the husk, bran, and germ, what remains is primarily carbohydrates that bacteria find impossible to feast upon. Civilizations have relied on white rice's remarkable shelf stability for millennia, with some survival experts suggesting properly stored rice can last 30+ years. The key is keeping it bone-dry and oxygen-free, vacuum-sealed in mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and stored in cool, dark conditions. Ancient Asian cultures considered rice so valuable and eternal that it was often included in burial chambers to nourish spirits in the afterlife. 3. Dried beans. These humble pantry heroes are time travel ready. Archaeologists have discovered ancient bean caches thousands of years old. While not necessarily tasty, were still recognizable and even viable for planting. Dried beans achieve their immortality through extremely low moisture content, typically under 10%, making them inhospitable to bacteria and mold. The incredible nutritional profile of beans, packed with protein, fiber, and essential minerals, made them foundation foods for many ancient civilizations from the Americas to the Mediterranean. While older beans may take longer to cook and potentially lose some nutritional value, they remain safe to eat indefinitely if kept dry and protected from pests. Store in airtight containers away from light and heat, preferably with oxygen absorbers for truly long-term storage. The amazing variety from tiny lentils to plump garbanzos ensures you'll never get bored with these eternal kitchen companions. 4. Salt. The mineral that shaped human history never spoils. Ancient civilizations valued salt so highly that soldiers were sometimes paid in it, hence the word salary. This crystalline wonder works its preservation magic by drawing moisture out of foods and creating an environment where bacteria cannot survive. Pure salt, whether sea, kosher, or table varieties, will remain unchanged virtually forever if kept dry. The oldest known salt works date back to 6600 BCE, and salt recovered from ancient shipwrecks is chemically identical to what's on your table today. While iodized salt has a technical shelf life of about 5 years, the salt itself remains eternally usable. Store in a cool, dry place with a tight-fitting lid to prevent clumping, and this kitchen essential will outlast every appliance in your home. 5. Pure maple syrup. This breakfast champion is surprisingly eternal. Pure maple syrup. The kind tapped directly from maple trees and properly processed, has a moisture content and sugar concentration that makes it incredibly resistant to microbial growth. While it can develop surface mold if contaminated, which can safely be removed, the syrup itself remains usable indefinitely. Indigenous peoples of North America discovered this liquid treasure centuries ago, teaching European settlers the art of sugaring, tapping trees in early spring when sap flows freely. The labor-intensive process requires roughly 40 gallons of sap to produce just 1 gallon of syrup. or truly indefinite storage. Keep unopened in glass containers, or once opened, refrigerate or freeze it. The complex flavor profile, with over 300 identified compounds contributing to its taste, makes real maple syrup worth every penny compared to artificially flavored alternatives. Dried beans. These humble pantry heroes are time travel ready. Archaeologists have discovered ancient bean caches thousands of years old. While not necessarily tasty, were still recognizable and even viable for planting. Dried beans achieve their immortality through extremely low moisture content, typically under 10%, making them inhospitable to bacteria and mold. The incredible nutritional profile of beans packed with protein, fiber, and essential minerals made them foundation foods for many ancient civilizations from the Americas to the Mediterranean. While older beans may take longer to cook and potentially lose some nutritional value, they remain safe to eat indefinitely if kept dry and protected from pests. Store in airtight containers away from light and heat, preferably with oxygen absorbers for truly long-term storage. The amazing variety from tiny lentils to plump garbanzos ensures you'll never get bored with these eternal kitchen companions. Sugar. The sweet staple with an endless lifespan. Whether white, brown, or powdered, pure sugar lasts forever due to its unique chemical structure and extremely low moisture content. Like salt, sugar creates an environment where microorganisms cannot survive. In fact, it's been used as a preservative for other foods for centuries through techniques like jam making. The oldest known evidence of sugar production dates back to around 350 CE in India, where it was initially used medicinally before becoming a coveted luxury good. While brown sugar might harden, easily fixed by adding a slice of bread to the container or microwaving briefly with a damp paper towel, the sugar itself remains usable indefinitely. For best results, store in airtight containers away from moisture and strong odors, as sugar can absorb both water and smells from its environment. From sweetening your morning coffee to preserving summer fruits, sugar's versatility matches its immortality. Dried corn. This ancient grain has stood the test of time. Archaeological discoveries have unearthed viable corn kernels from caves in New Mexico dating back to over 4,000 years. When properly dried to below 13% moisture content, corn enters a state of suspended animation, where enzymatic processes that lead to deterioration essentially stop. Indigenous peoples across the Americas developed sophisticated drying and storage techniques, creating a food source that sustained civilizations through harsh winters and periods of scarcity. The versatility of dried corn is astounding. It can be ground into meals, made into hominy through nixtamalization, popped for a classic snack, or rehydrated and cooked. For truly indefinite storage, keep dried corn in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, protected from moisture, heat, and pests. The genetic diversity of heritage corn varieties, with their rainbow of colors and flavor profiles, makes this eternal food not just practical but also a living connection to agricultural history. Pure ghee. This golden elixir from ancient Ayurvedic tradition has supernatural staying power. Ghee, clarified butter with milk solids and water removed, creates a pure butter fat that, when properly prepared and stored, can last for years or even decades without refrigeration. The ancient Sanskrit texts from over 5,000 years ago describe ghee's remarkable properties, claiming properly prepared ghee actually improves with age. The production process creates a high smoke point, 480 degrees Fahrenheit, cooking fat that's remarkably shelf-stable, as the removal of milk solids eliminates what would normally cause butter to spoil. Traditional ghee making in India often involves ritual and precise timing with lunar cycle for optimum results. Store in clean, completely dry glass containers away from direct light and heat, and this liquid gold will maintain its rich, nutty flavor profile almost indefinitely. Beyond cooking, ghee has been used medicinally in traditional medicine systems for everything from digestive health to skincare. Dried pasta. The pantry staple with eternal patience. Dried pasta's remarkable shelf life comes from its extremely low moisture content. creating an environment where bacteria and mold simply cannot thrive. Ancient pasta-making techniques, developed centuries ago in Italy, focused on thorough drying as the key to preservation in a pre-refrigeration world. While manufacturers typically print 1 to 2 year dates on packages, properly stored dried pasta remains safe indefinitely. The simple ingredients, usually just semolina wheat and water, contribute to its stability as there are no fats or oils to go rancid. For truly long-term storage, keep pasta in airtight containers away from humidity and pests. The diverse shapes, over 350 documented pasta varieties worldwide, each evolved for specific sauces and dishes, showing the incredible culinary innovation behind this eternal food. From quick weeknight dinners to gourmet creation, dried pasta's versatility matches its impressive longevity. Baking soda. This kitchen multitasker is virtually immortal. Pure sodium bicarbonate remains chemically stable indefinitely when kept dry, maintaining its leavening power and cleaning capabilities without degradation. Ancient Egyptians used natural deposits of sodium bicarbonate as a cleaning agent and in mummification processes, appreciating its stable properties even then. While baking soda absorbs odors, this doesn't affect its chemical effectiveness, though it might transfer those odors to your baked goods. The versatility is truly astounding. Beyond baking, it's used for cleaning, deodorizing, fire suppression, medical treatments, and even industrial applications. For maximum longevity, store in airtight containers away from strong-smelling substances and moisture. To test potency for baking applications, mix a small amount with vinegar. Vigorous bubbling indicates it's still effective. From fluffy pancakes to sparkling sinks, this humble white powder's eternal shelf life makes it the ultimate prepper's pantry essential. White vinegar, the kitchen liquid that defies time. Distilled white vinegar's remarkable shelf stability comes from its high acidity, creating an environment where bacteria and mold cannot survive. In fact, vinegar has been used as a preservative for other foods for thousands of years. Ancient Babylonian texts from around 5000 BCE mention vinegar, showing how long humans have appreciated its unique properties. While apple cider and balsamic vinegars may develop sediment over time, distilled white vinegar remains unchanged virtually forever. Beyond culinary uses, vinegar's stable properties make it ideal for cleaning, weed control, fabric setting, and countless other household applications. Store in tightly sealed glass containers away from direct sunlight to prevent evaporation, and this versatile liquid will maintain its potency indefinitely. Dried lentils. These ancient nutrition powerhouses are time capsule ready. Archaeological excavations have uncovered lentils in Middle Eastern sites dating back 8,000 years that remained recognizable and potentially viable. Their extraordinary shelf life stems from extremely low moisture content, creating an environment inhospitable to spoilage organisms. Lentils have sustained civilizations through countless famines and harsh winters, providing complete protein when paired with grains, a nutritional secret understood by ancient cultures long before modern nutritional science. Unlike larger beans, lentils cook quickly without pre-soaking, making them practical in an emergency situation with limited resources. While very old lentils may take slightly longer to cook and potentially lose some nutritional value, they remain safe indefinitely when properly stored. Keep in airtight containers protected from moisture, oxygen, and pests for genuinely endless shelf life. The amazing variety, from tiny black beluga lentils to vibrant coral-colored red splits, ensures this eternal superfood never becomes boring. Freeze-dried coffee. The morning essential that outlasts civilizations. Freeze-dried coffee achieves its remarkable longevity through a sophisticated process that removes 97 to 99% of moisture or preserving flavor compounds. The technology was actually developed during World War II to reduce the weight of military supplies while providing troops with essential caffeine. Unlike regular instant coffee, freeze-drying involves flash freezing brewed coffee, then removing ice through sublimation and a vacuum, preserving cellular structure and flavor profiles. NASA selected freeze-dried coffee for space missions due to its virtually infinite shelf life and minimal weight. While flavor might gradually diminish after decades, properly stored freeze-dried coffee remains safe to consume indefinitely. For maximum longevity, store in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, protected from moisture, heat, and light. The convenience factor is unbeatable. In situations where brewing fresh coffee is impossible, this eternal standby delivers essential caffeine with just hot water, making it a prep-worthy pantry essential. Whole spices. Nature's flavor time capsules. Whole spices like peppercorns, cinnamon sticks, star anise, and cloves have been discovered in ancient Egyptian tombs, still fragrant after thousands of years. Their extraordinary longevity comes from essential oils and compounds evolved specifically to protect the seeds from bacterial and fungal growth. Ancient spice traders developed sophisticated knowledge about preservation, recognizing that keeping spices whole dramatically extended their useful life compared to ground versions. The spice trade shaped world history, with wars fought and continents discovered in pursuit of these valuable preserves. While ground spices lose potency within months due to increased surface area exposure, whole spices can last indefinitely when properly stored. Keep in airtight containers away from heat, light, and moisture, preferably glass jars in a cool, dark cabinet. For the ultimate flavor experience, toast whole spices briefly before grinding, just what you need for each recipe, connecting your kitchen to culinary traditions that span millennia. Pemmican. The original survival superfood, developed by indigenous North American peoples centuries ago, properly made pemmican can remain edible for decades or even generations. This concentrated mixture of rendered fat and powdered dry meat creates a remarkably shelf-stable, high-energy food source that sustains hunters and travelers through harsh winters and long journeys. The secret to its longevity lies in the complete removal of moisture and careful rendering of fat to remove impurities, creating an anaerobic environment that prevents spoilage. European explorers and fur traders quickly adopted this indigenous innovation, with some documented cases of pemmican remaining edible for after 50 years in proper storage. Modern preppers have revived traditional techniques, sometimes adding dried berries for flavor and additional nutrients. Store in airtight containers in cool, dark locations, and this concentrated survival food will remain edible for generations, providing essential calories and nutrition when other food sources might be unavailable. Traditional soy sauce. The ancient condiment with surprising immortality. Properly brewed fermented soy sauce, the kind that's been made in Asia for over 2,500 years, contains natural preservatives that prevent spoilage indefinitely. The combination of high salt content and beneficial fermentation microbes creates an environment where harmful bacteria simply cannot survive. Historical records describe soy sauce being transported on lengthy sea voyages without spoilage concerns. Unlike chemically produced modern versions, traditionally brewed soy sauce contains over 300 flavor compounds that continue developing complexity over time, similarly to aged wines. While manufacturers typically recommend refrigeration after opening to maintain peak flavor profile, the condiment remains safe at room temperature indefinitely. For best quality, store in its original dark glass bottle away from direct sunlight and heat. The umami-rich flavor profile makes it one of the most versatile seasonings in the kitchen, enhancing everything from its stir-fries to marinades, making its eternal shelf life particularly valuable. Dried split peas. These humble legumes laugh in the face of time. Archaeological discoveries have unearthed viable split peas in ancient settlements dating back thousands of years, demonstrating their remarkable longevity. The secret lies in their extremely low moisture content, creating an environment where spoilage organisms simply cannot survive. Split peas earn their place in history by sustaining populations through harsh winters and famines, providing essential protein, fiber, and nutrients in a compact, lightweight form. Unlike their whole pea cousins, split peas cook relatively quickly without pre-soaking, making them practical even in emergency situations with limited resources. Their naturally sweet flavor and creamy texture when cooked have made them kitchen staples across cultures, from Nordic yellow pea soup to Indian dal. While very old split peas may require longer cooking times, they remain safe indefinitely when properly stored. Keep in airtight containers protected from moisture, oxygen, light, and pests for truly endless shelf life, making them an excellent addition to any long-term food storage plan. Hardtack, the legendary survival bread that outlasts generations. This simple mixture of flour, water, and sometimes salt creates an extremely dry cracker that, when properly made and stored, remains edible for decades or even centuries. Historical hardtack from the American Civil War exists in museums today. Still technically edible, though not particularly appetizing. Naval powers like Britain and Spain stocked their ships with hardtack for long voyages, and ancient Roman armies carried a similar food called bucellatum on campaigns. The extreme durability comes from very low moisture content achieved through baking and subsequent drying. While notoriously bland and difficult to chew, hardtack provided essential calories in environments where fresh bread was impossible. Modern survivalists still make hardtack, sometimes adding honey or spices for flavor. Store in absolutely airtight containers with desiccants to prevent moisture absorption, and this simple emergency food will outlast nearly everything else in your pantry. Powdered milk, the dairy product that defies time. Modern spray drying processes remove over 97% of moisture from milk, creating a remarkably shelf-stable powder that, when properly packaged and stored, remains usable for decades. Originally developed in the early 1800s, powdered milk revolutionized food security by making dairy nutrients available in regions and seasons where fresh milk was impractical. World War II further perfected manufacturing techniques as powdered milk became essential for military rations and humanitarian aid. While fat content can eventually lead to rancidity in whole milk powder, non-fat powdered milk remains safe almost indefinitely, though some vitamin content may gradually diminish. The key to extreme longevity is oxygen-free storage. Commercially packed in nitrogen-flushed containers or home-stored with oxygen absorbers and mylar bags. Beyond reconstituting as a beverage, powdered milk serves as a baking ingredient, nutritional supplement, an emergency calcium source. For true preppers, rotating stock every 5 to 10 years maximizes nutritional value while maintaining perpetual food security. Dried corn husks, the versatile plant material with unbelievable staying power. Dried corn husks, used for millennia in traditional cooking across the Americas, remain usable indefinitely when properly dried and stored. Archaeological discoveries have unearthed intact corn husks from ancient cliff dwellings dating back thousands of years, still flexible and rehydrated. This remarkable preservation stems from their extremely low moisture content and natural compounds that resist decomposition. Traditional tamale making relies on these husks as wrappers, infusing a subtle corn flavor while creating a perfect steaming vessel. Beyond culinary uses, dried husks served as crafting materials for dolls, mats, footwear, and even building insulation in indigenous communities. Modern applications include cooking techniques like food wrapped and baked in packets, sustainable gift-wrapped alternatives, and natural garden ties. Store completely dried husks in airtight containers away from humidity and pests, and they'll remain usable for generations. The zero-waste ethos of traditional corn cultivation, using every part from kernel to husk, demonstrates sustainable food practices that long predate modern environmental movements. Pure coconut oil, the tropical treasure with remarkable shelf life. Properly refined coconut oil with its high concentration of saturated fats, which resist oxidation, remains stable for years or even decades when protected from heat and light. Archaeological evidence suggests Pacific Island cultures have been extracting and preserving coconut oil for at least 3,000 years, developing sophisticated techniques for extending its usability. Unlike polyunsaturated oils that quickly go rancid, coconut oil's unique fatty acid profile makes it extraordinarily resistant to spoilage. Traditional Pacific extraction methods often involved fermentation steps that created natural preservative compounds. Beyond culinary applications, traditional cultures used preserved coconut oil for skincare, hair conditioning, waterproofing, and even medicinal purposes. Virgin, unrefined coconut oil contains more beneficial compounds but slightly shorter shelf life than refined versions. For maximum longevity, store in opaque, airtight containers away from heat sources. The oil's ability to remain solid below 76 degrees Fahrenheit and liquid above creates a fascinating phase-changing material that's as versatile as it is enduring. Dried seaweed. The ocean's gift that time cannot spoil. When properly dried to below 10% moisture content, seaweed varieties like nori, kombu, and wakame remain edible almost indefinitely. Japanese historical records document preserved seaweed lasting decades while maintaining nutritional value and flavor. The remarkable preservation stems from naturally occurring compounds that inhibit microbial growth, developed by these marine plants to survive in challenging ocean environments. Ancient coastal communities across Asia perfected drying techniques thousands of years ago, creating an important winter source of essential minerals like iodine, calcium, and iron when fresh foods were scarce. Beyond direct consumption, dried seaweed served as a versatile flavoring agent, creating the foundation of umami-rich dashi broth central to Japanese cuisine. Modern research has identified over 100 nutritional compounds in dried seaweed, including unique antioxidants not found in land plants. Store in airtight containers away from humidity, preferably with desiccant packets, and these mineral-rich sea vegetables remain usable for generations, making them an exceptional addition to any long-term food storage plan. Pure extracts. The baker's eternal friends. High-quality pure extracts like vanilla, almond, and lemon achieve their remarkable longevity through concentration in natural preservative compounds. Traditional extraction processes developed centuries ago create flavor concentrates that resist degradation for decades when properly stored. The intense concentration means a little goes a long way. A single bottle of quality extract can flavor hundreds of recipes. While modern manufacturers typically print 2 to 4 year best-by dates, properly stored extracts remain safe and potent for much longer, though some subtle flavor notes may gradually evolve. The complex chemistry of natural extracts actually allows interesting flavor development over time, similar to aged perfumes. For maximum longevity, store in dark glass bottles away from heat, light, and temperature fluctuations, preferably with minimal headspace to reduce oxidation. From classic desserts to innovative savory applications, these concentrated flavoring agents provide dimensional taste that synthetic versions simply cannot match, making their extended shelf life particularly valuable for long-term food planning. Bouillon cubes. The flavor bombs with impressive staying power. These dehydrated stock concentrates achieve their longevity through extremely low moisture content combined with high salt concentration, creating an environment where spoilage organisms cannot survive. Developed in the early 1900s by food companies seeking shelf-stable alternatives to perishable stocks, bouillon cubes quickly became military ration staples and pantry essentials worldwide. While manufacturers typically print 1 to 2 year dates on packages, properly stored bouillon remains safe almost indefinitely. Though some flavor degradation may occur after several years, the concentrated nature makes these flavor enhancers incredibly space efficient. A single cube can season an entire pot of soup or transform plain rice into a savory side dish. Their versatility extends beyond broths to marinades, rubs, and seasoning blends. For maximum longevity, store in airtight containers away from moisture and heat, preferably with desiccant packets, in humid environments. While sodium-conscious cooks might limit their use when emergency situations limit fresh ingredients, these eternal flavor enhancers can transform basic staples into satisfying meals. Hard candy. The sweet treat that time forgot. With essentially zero moisture content and extremely high sugar concentration, properly made hard candies create an environment where bacteria and fungi simply cannot grow. Archaeological evidence suggests humans have been creating honey-based candies for thousands of years, with ancient Egyptian tombs containing confections still recognizable today. The science behind their preservation is fascinating. Sugar concentrations above 85% create a hypertonic environment that ruptures microbial cell walls through osmotic pressure. Commercial hard candies often remain unchanged for decades when kept dry, with some collectors preserving vintage candies from the early 1900s. The key to their immortality is preventing moisture absorption, which can eventually lead to stickiness but not actual spoilage. Store in airtight containers with desiccant packets in humid environments, and separate different flavors to prevent cross-contamination through volatile compounds. Beyond simple treats, hard candies serve practical purposes in emergency kits, providing quick energy, soothing sore throats, and fighting nausea, making their eternal shelf life particularly valuable when medicinal access is limited. Cornstarch, the kitchen thickener that never quits. This pure, extracted carbohydrate powder remains chemically stable virtually forever when kept dry. Developed by Thomas Kingsford in 1842, cornstarch revolutionized food preparation with its neutral flavor and remarkable thickening properties. Ancient civilizations used similar starch extracts from various plants, recognizing their preservability and utility. Beyond culinary applications as a thickener for sauces, pies, and puddings, cornstarch serves countless non-food purposes, from laundry starch to homemade cosmetics, makeshift deodorant to molding compounds. Its ability to instantly thicken liquids when heated makes it particularly valuable in emergency cooking situations where precise control might be challenging. The extremely low moisture content prevents microbial growth, while the simple molecular structure resists breaking down over time. Store in completely airtight containers away from moisture. The powder's hygroscopic nature means it readily absorbs humidity, which can lead to clumping. From perfect gravies to emergency skin soothers for rashes, this multi-purpose powder deserves prime placement in any preparedness pantry. Molasses, the sweet syrup with surprising longevity. Traditional blackstrap molasses, with its high sugar concentration and natural preservative compounds, remains stable for decades when properly stored. Historical accounts mention molasses barrels remaining usable after 50-plus years, with some vintage bottles from the early 1900s still maintaining safety and flavor profile. This remarkable preservation stems from a combination of factors. Extremely high sugar content creates an environment hostile to most microorganisms, while natural compounds from the sugarcane extraction process add antimicrobial properties. Molasses played a crucial role in American colonial history, with the Molasses Act of 1733 becoming a flashpoint in pre-revolutionary tensions. Beyond sweetening, traditional households valued molasses for its mineral content, particularly iron, making it one of few reliable sources of this essential nutrient during winter months. The distinct flavor profile actually improves with age as subtle flavor compounds develop complexity. Store in glass containers away from direct heat and light, and this historical sweetener will remain usable for generations, providing both flavor and nutrients when other options might be unavailable. Dried chickpeas. These versatile legumes are time travel ready. Archaeological discoveries have uncovered chickpeas in Middle Eastern sites dating back 7,500 years that remained intact and potentially viable. Their extraordinary shelf life stems from extremely low moisture content, creating an environment inhospitable to spoilage organisms. Ancient Mediterranean and Middle Eastern civilizations developed sophisticated storage techniques, recognizing chickpeas' value as a protein-rich food that remained edible through extended droughts and lean seasons. Beyond direct consumption, these versatile legumes became flour for flatbreads, thickeners for stews, and even coffee substitutes during scarcity. The relatively high fat content compared to other beans contributes to their creamy texture when cooked, but requires proper storage to prevent eventual rancidity. While very old chickpeas may take longer to cook and potentially lose some nutritional value, they remain safe indefinitely when properly stored. Keep in airtight containers protected from moisture, oxygen, light, and pests for truly endless shelf life. From hummus to falafel, curries to roasted snacks, these culinary chameleons offer endless possibilities. Baking powder, the leavening agent with surprising longevity. While not quite immortal like its cousin baking soda, properly stored baking powder remains effective for years beyond its printed date. The double-acting formulation provides two chemical reactions, one when mixed with liquid and another when heated, giving bakers reliable results even with delayed baking. Ancient civilizations used natural alternatives like hartshorn, ammonium carbonate, and potash, but these required careful handling and produced inconsistent results. Modern aluminum-free variations may have slightly shorter shelf lives, but avoid potential metallic flavors in delicate baked goods. To test potency, Simply add a teaspoon of hot water. Vigorous bubbling indicates it's still effective. While manufacturers typically suggest 18 to 24 months for optimal performance, properly stored baking powder often remains usable for 3 to 5 years or more. Store in completely airtight containers away from moisture. The powder's hygroscopic nature means it readily absorbs humidity, which triggers premature activation. From fluffy pancakes to perfect cakes, this kitchen staple transforms flat batters into light, airy creations. Pure cocoa powder, the chocolate essential with remarkable staying power. Properly processed unsweetened cocoa powder with its extremely low moisture content and natural preservative compounds remains usable for decades when properly stored. Ancient Mesoamerican civilizations developed sophisticated processing techniques for cacao, creating shelf-stable powders used in ceremonial beverages. The key to cocoa's longevity lies in the removal of cocoa butter during processing, eliminating the fat component that would eventually go rancid. Archaeological discoveries have unearthed cacao residue in vessels dating back to over 3,000 years that remained chemically identifiable. The complex flavor profile with over 600 identified chemical compounds actually develops interesting nuanced notes as it ages, similar to fine wines. Beyond sweet applications, traditional cuisines incorporate cocoa into savory dishes like Mexican mole, where its rich, earthy qualities balance chili heat. For maximum longevity, store in airtight containers away from strong odors, moisture, and heat. From emergency morale-boosting hot chocolate to sophisticated desserts, this concentrated flavor powerhouse provides reliable chocolate satisfaction when fresh supplies might be unavailable. Whole wheat berries, the ultimate grain for long-term storage. Intact wheat berries, the complete kernel with germ, bran, and endosperm still unified, have been discovered in ancient Egyptian tombs, still viable after 4,000 plus years under ideal storage conditions. This remarkable longevity stems from the seed's biological imperative to remain dormant until proper growing conditions exist. Unlike processed flour, which exposes oils to oxidation, whole wheat berries keep these components protected within the seed's natural packaging. Ancient civilizations developed sophisticated grain storage systems, recognizing that their society's survival depended on preserving grain harvests through potential years of drought or conflict. The nutritional profile remains impressive, packed with complex carbohydrates, protein, fiber, and essential vitamins and minerals. When properly stored, wheat berries finally meet their end use. They can be ground into fresh flour, cooked as a hearty breakfast porridge, sprouted for living nutrition, or used as the base for traditional fermented beverages. Store in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers at cool temperatures, protected from light and pests for truly multi-generational food security. Poppy seeds. These tiny culinary gems have astonishing staying power. Archaeological excavations have discovered viable poppy seeds in ancient sites dating back thousands of years, with some specimens still capable of germination after centuries of dormancy. The remarkable preservation stems from naturally occurring alkaloids that resist microbial decomposition, the same compounds that made poppies medicinally significant throughout human history. Ancient Egyptian, Greek, and Roman civilizations valued poppy seeds for both culinary and medicinal purposes, developing specialized storage techniques to maintain viability between growing seasons. Beyond baking applications, traditional cuisines worldwide incorporate poppy seeds into everything from curries to pasta dishes, appreciating their subtle nutty flavor and satisfying crunch. The impressive nutritional profile includes significant amounts of calcium, magnesium, and fiber, making these tiny seeds nutritional powerhouses. Store in airtight containers away from heat, light, and moisture for truly indefinite shelf life. From classic lemon poppy seed muffins to traditional European noodle dishes, these tiny immortal seeds enhance countless culinary creations. Rock sugar, the crystalline sweetener that defies time. Also known as crystal sugar or sugar candy in various cultures, this pure form of sucrose has been discovered in ancient storage vessels, still perfectly usable after centuries. Unlike granulated sugar, which can absorb moisture and harden, rock sugar's large crystalline structure resists environmental humidity changes, maintaining its form and usability indefinitely. Ancient Chinese texts dating back to 2,000 plus years describe medicinal uses for rock sugar, particularly in traditional herbal preparations where its slow-dissolving properties were valued for extended flavor release. Traditional tea houses across Asia still feature rock sugar as the preferred sweetener for delicate teas, appreciating how the slow dissolution allows sweetness to develop gradually without overwhelming subtle flavor notes. Beyond beverages, rock sugar serves as a garnish for desserts, a component in preserves, and even as emergency hard candy when other sweets are unavailable. Store in airtight containers away from strong odors, and this crystalline sweetener will remain unchanged for generations, providing reliable sweetness when other forms might harden or clump. Tapioca pearls. These culinary curiosities have incredible staying power. Made from cassava root starch that's been processed, shaped, and thoroughly dried, tapioca pearls contain virtually no moisture or nutrients that would support microbial growth. Ancient South American civilizations developed sophisticated methods to transform poisonous raw cassava into safe, shelf-stable food products, including these versatile pearls. The extreme processing removes cyanogenic compounds while creating a product that resists decomposition almost indefinitely. Traditional storage methods involved keeping dried pearls in woven baskets in cool, dry locations where they would remain usable for generations. Beyond the popular bubble tea application, traditional cuisines worldwide incorporate tapioca pearls into puddings, thickeners, and even emergency survival foods valued for their high caloric density and ease of preparation. Their ability to dramatically expand when cooked makes them remarkably efficient for long-term storage. Keep in airtight containers protected from humidity, and these little spheres will remain unchanged for decades, providing satisfying texture and calories when other options might be unavailable. If this video saved you from throwing away perfectly good honey or helped you build a more resilient pantry, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical food wisdom. What's your favorite never expiring food? Let me know in the comments below.